So, welcome to Gastronomy and Beyond once again. And with the cooperation of MIT, the City Science, and RCC Harvard, and Basque Culinary Center, it's such an honor for us to have Chef Fatmata Binta. Am I pronouncing correctly? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much. She's a culinary pioneer in nomadic cuisine and sustainability. I mean, uh, everything you're doing is just amazing. She is the founder of Fulani Kitchen Foundation, and she's been awarded also in Basque Culinary Center, and many other things. Please, ready when you are. It's really an honor to have you.
Thank you. It means a lot to be here. I feel like Basque is my second home now. I have a lot of beautiful memories of Basque. So it's such an honor to join all of you here and to share about the work I do and hoping to inspire others because I believe that's why we go when it comes to gastronomy. The reason why I believe that gastronomy needs to have a purpose to it is to inspire others because I believe everyone can cook, but finding a purpose in it means so much more for me personally. So I am the founder of Fulani Kitchen Foundation. And also, I founded a nomadic restaurant called Dine on a Mat because I'm from the nomadic tribe, actually the largest nomadic tribe in the world. And for me, gastronomy, I see it as a love language. I believe food is a declaration of love. And I wanted love to champion change, to talk about the things I care about, to connect with people, and I have firsthand experience also in this experience because I grew up in a very traditional community where food is the center of everything that we do. So when I started Dine on a Mat, my main goal was to create vibrant dishes inspired by indigenous communities across Africa. And I started traveling across Africa, going into small communities in the most rural areas of Africa, spending time with the gatekeepers of indigenous food systems, which is the women, the aunties, and spending time with them, documenting recipes and best practices when it comes to agriculture, cooking techniques, also the sustainable ways that they connect with food. So I started spending a lot of time with them documenting this. And some example I'll give you is that women in Mozambique, for example, taught me how to use moringa pots to purify water because they live in the most remote areas. They don't have access to clean water. So when they fetch water from the stream, which is usually very brown in color, what they'll do, they'll crush the moringa pods, they'll drop it in the water, let it sit for about 6 hours, and that water will change from brown to clear water. And the women also in Ghana, we taught me how to ferment African locust beans using ashes from the fireplace because of its alkaline properties. Some other women in the nomadic areas, when you go there, they don't have refrigerator, they don't have electricity, but they have a way of cooling their water in clay pots. So it's for me, it was very interesting to see how much, as much as they never went to school, but they have this deep intuitive knowledge of science when it comes to how they use what they have already and make it enjoyable. So me, I found that very inspiring. So the restaurant has been about that, and we've been hosting dinners around the world, highlighting and promoting indigenous food systems and telling stories also. And then the foundation champions an ancient grain called fonio, which is it's been around for over 7,000 years. It's actually one of the most sustainable grains in Africa, and it's gluten-free. And when you think about a sustainable grain, it's actually one of the most sustainable grains grown in Africa because when you sow it, you can harvest within 8 to 12 weeks. Yes, and then it's gluten-free and it thrives in drought areas, in the driest areas possible. And the reason why they grow it mostly in the dry areas, there's a historic part to it because women in, especially West Africa, they are not allowed to own land. It's a law. Women don't own land. It's only their husbands who inherit or have access, and then they can work on it if they are married. And the men usually don't give them the best land. They will give them the most arid lands, the land they don't want. They don't need to grow things like maize, vegetables. But miraculously, Fonio thrives in the bad land, the land they consider they don't need. They give it to the women. But the women grow the most sustainable grain. So it's actually considered a female crop in Africa. So it's something I champion a lot. In Ghana, we are working really hard to bring attention to fonio and also challenging restaurants locally to add it more to its diet, because as much as it has all these benefits, it's also a grain that is very tedious to process. So my work is also about helping women with the right tools to produce fonio less tediously. So that was one reason why I won Basque. And then also that allowed me to invest in machinery, the right tools, to support these women in these communities. And also aside all of these things, I am a champion for gastronomy in Africa. I love African food. I love the stories. I love how food is a huge symbol with how we connect with people. And I believe African gastronomy, Africa itself has the most sustainable, how's it called, food techniques and ingredients, but the world hasn't seen that yet. Africa alone is a world of diverse, food systems. And I believe these systems are also fading away slowly because of urbanization. And if you look at the habits, the way people eat and connect with food these days, there's a huge shift. We are disconnecting more than we are connecting, because most people focus on grab and go. We don't spend time on the dinner table anymore or around the mat to eat as a family, because life is moving very fast. Most people are doing grab and go. We don't sit with, even when we're on the table, unfortunately, sometimes we're on the phone most of the times. And I feel like it's a problem. It's actually a huge problem. So the restaurant Dine on the Mat also was founded because I wanted people to reflect on how we connect with food and the meaning for it. Because for me, the culture I come from, growing up, it was very important sitting on that mat with your family, because that's how they believe they were passing down knowledge to us. So morals, values, also, that's how they were building the social structure of the home and family. Because when you're eating with your mom and dad, that's when they will talk to you about things. We share about our day, we exchange. And also there's so much culture around it, the nomadic way of eating and connecting with food. For example, eating on the mat is not just because we don't have chairs. It's because there's a deeper meaning to it. They believe when you sit on the mat, you don't have any support on your back. It's helping you have a good posture, because you eat 3 times a day. So you're sitting upright, you're holding the bowl, it helps you with your posture so you don't slush. And also they have this tradition where you're not allowed to touch the meat in the middle. You have to wait for an elder to pass the meat to you, because that also is a way to teach you patience and contentment. Because imagine seeing a very juicy meat in the middle and you're not allowed to touch it. They believe that's how they teach you patience and contentment. And you're also not allowed to eat, so talk when you have food in your mouth. So also dining on the mat is so powerful, aside all of these things, because it takes off that pressure of the fine dining etiquettes of holding fork and knife. You get it wrong, it's almost like you look stupid. Sorry for saying. So eating on the mat, you don't have to worry about that. You're eating with your hands, you connect. And one example I'll give you is 4 years ago, actually 5 years ago, I hosted 50 students from Harvard, and then they were traveling across West Africa. And Ghana was the last country they visited. And then I hosted them on the mats. And then usually at the end of the dinner, I usually go on the mat and talk to everyone just to have conversations. And one particular group, it was about 8 people. They said they've been traveling for days in the same vehicle. And that moment on the mat that night was the only time they truly connected. And for me, I thought that was powerful. Because for you to have spent like 7 days in the same car going to places, sightseeing and everything, and you only connected deeply when you're on the mat, then there was something about that. If you look at Japanese culture, not just the Fulani, not just the nomadic culture, there are so many cultures around the world where people eat on pillows and mats. And it's something powerful about that. And I am a huge fan of Japanese culture. I'm obsessed, from sushi to everything else. And there are people I admire because they focus on mindfulness. And that's one thing also about the indigenous food systems and the nomadic culture in Africa. It's all about mindfulness. We are minimalist people. We don't carry too much. Because we are always on the move. And we rear cattle for living. So that's why we are always on the move. So we go where our cattle can graze. But also there is a disadvantage in that because of that, we abandoned agriculture years ago. We only grow things like grains, like the phone I'm telling you about, that can be harvested in short time because we are not in one place constantly. So that's a problem also because we've abandoned agriculture. We only focus on grains, we focus on dairy products because we always have cattle with us moving. So most of our diet is centered around grains, also dried, even vegetables. When we go to markets, we buy like fresh okra, we sun-dry it. So most of our dishes and ingredients are sun-dried because we are constantly on the go. We have to think about how we can move faster. Even our homes are dismantled because we are not staying in one place. So our houses are made from sorghum straw. Do you know sorghum? Part of the millet family. So our homes are made of sorghum straws. See the straws up there? This is actually semi-nomadic house. The nomadic house itself, you see on another slide, it's completely straws because we have to dismantle, put it on a donkey's back and the cattle, and then we move where the cattle can graze. So because of we don't grow food much, but we feed on a lot of dairy, things like ghee, butter, things like milk. You can see here, this is a nomadic space, actually. See the 3 villages scattered, actually like 4. And also there's a misconception when it comes to the nomadic culture because they think because we have cattle always, we eat meat a lot. Our food is highly plant-based. We most times slaughter and then we sell the meat, the beef to the local community, and then we feed on offals. So mostly we eat offals more than the best beef cut you consider. So you mostly like the tongue, even the testicles we feed on. And then we sun-dry it. So if we have like a head of a cow, what we do, a way of sun-drying it is to put it on top of the roof of the house. Or when we are cooking, we warm it on top of the cover of the pot. And then we eat it bit by bit as we go. So Fulani, I believe, and the reason why I champion my work a lot, because I believe there is a lesson in the nomadic food culture and way of life that the world can draw knowledge from right now. These current times that we talk a lot about, sustainability is becoming the easiest buzzword. It makes me cringe, honestly, at this point, because I feel like it should be responsibility more than saying sustainability because it's nothing cool about it. It should be a way of life. And that's something the nomadic and indigenous people practice a lot. They don't overconsume. They also they are minimalist. They don't carry too much. And they are deeply connected to their environment and their day-to-day way of life, which it's not the case for a lot of places in the world. Now we talk about climate change, we talk about food insecurity, and I believe if we can go back to the indigenous food systems or just the best practices of the olden days, and this is not just for Africa, I believe as a world, we all have connections to a small village, or where our grandmother used to be, and we all have memories of something of our grandparents that we don't see nowadays. If we can practice, if we can embrace all these things from the past, I believe it can slow down the damage we are doing to the planet. So that's why I try to talk a lot about indigenous food systems, but also practices. So, because right now, we just finished building a culinary heritage village in Ghana, 3 hours away from the city. And our main goal with that is for the success of Dine to actually expand in a space where now you get to visit us, because I feel like I go out a lot. I travel constantly talking about indigenous food systems, the nomadic way of life. Well, I wanted to create a space where people can actually come also and experience it firsthand, beyond my words, beyond the stories I'm telling. So the village is a space for you to come and learn about West African, especially West African cuisine, gastronomy as a whole, cooking techniques, but also connect with the locals, because we intentionally built the village close to an existing village that people do normal things every day. So it's not staged. So you come, you spend time in our huts. Last year, we had a student from Basque. Was it last year? This year, actually. One student came from Basque that did internship with us. So you come, you spend time in the village, you meet the women, you cook with them, you learn all these techniques, but also it's a space for us to do exchange programs. Because as much as we value indigenous food systems, I also believe evolution has to happen a little bit somewhere. And for me, the space is also to bring in curious minds, young people, to collaborate with the generation before them and to learn these techniques so that they can actually progress that, into a better way. I believe evolution has to happen somehow, but the things that are important, we need to embrace, which are the best practices, the sustainable systems. We need to keep those things, but we need to also, integrate and collaborate. So that's why the village, that's why we built the village. So we are looking forward to welcoming more people there. And also currently with the Fonio, we've been working on, one of our collaborations is with FAO. We've trained about 100 women already, and it wasn't a one-off training. It was a three trip training. So we have 2 more coming up early next year, and it doesn't stop there, because our main goal also is to build a Fonio processing center where it's not just the traditional ways of eating fonio or using the grain itself. We want to use it in different ways so that it matches also the times, but it doesn't take away from sustainability. So for example, like using fonio for baby foods, using fonio to make bread, which we've done, different ways, because that's a way for it to scale up. Because the farmers are growing now, but they are doing on a small scale. And for us to go large scale farming, we need to utilize it in different ways and to fit also different palettes. But most importantly, I believe in localization. At the end of the day, I don't want it to become a hippie food. Also, that comes from learning from quinoa's global popularity. And I don't want it, that disconnect where the farmer is growing it, but he or she can't afford it. And you can only find it in supermarkets. I think that would be a sad story, because it's grown in Africa. And there's a problem right now, because you can easily find rice from Thailand. Nothing wrong with that. Or you can't find fonio that is grown locally. It doesn't make sense. So our work is merely to really push it in a way where it's affordable. It can be sourced in the simplest market you work in. It doesn't have to even be packaged products in supermarkets, because then the farmer cannot afford that. It becomes expensive. So our goal with the center, we are planning to build in Cherepone. It's way out in the north of Ghana, close to the Burkina Faso border, where we have a warehouse right now that is working with the women. Our goal is to build a center where they can process food into different ways. And also, it's not just championing African gastronomy or telling the food stories. It's also rural development. I see it as a way to also challenge, the development of rural areas, and also economic, empowerment, development for women, where they can be able to support themselves financially. So in a nutshell, not such a nutshell, this is what I do, and I would love to have questions. And yeah, this is actually our packaging of Fonio. You're seeing there, these are the women we work with. On your right here is a Fulani woman in a place called Shy Hills. And then on your far left here, the 2 men, they were harvesting Fonio in Cherepone. And this is the work we do.
it's just amazing. Thank you so much for sharing what you do.
Mm.
You're very, very modest when you talk about this is the way and the work we do. But I think you're doing amazing things. I don't know if I have the questions, but I wrote down a lot of things.
Okay,
Food is a declaration of love. How did your love story begin?
a good one. Sometimes I almost forget. My love story with food, it wasn't cute, by the way, because I got third degree burns. That was my first introduction to food. I was very stubborn. My mom used to cook also to sell because there was a very famous cinema in Sierra Leone, in West Africa. Cinema wasn't a thing until now. It's a thing where you go out to watch movies. We only had one cinema in the entire country. And the cinema happened to be right next to our shop. Like our house had also a store in front. So my mom used to do some snacks, sell like deep fried, how is it called? Something we call puff puff, fish that goes with bread. So it was famous. And 6 years old me came back from school, curious in the kitchen, picking the onions on the ground because it was an open kitchen, throwing it in the pot. And then she said, like, leave this place, this oil is hot. And then I went, pressed my hand on top of it, the cover slided one end, hands entered, third degree burn, trauma. Most people run away from cooking, but not me. And also mostly because I grew up in a community where food is everything. Most of the women that raised me never went to school. Actually, all of them never went to school. And in the Fulani culture, the moment you're 6 years old, they start teaching you how to cook because they're preparing you for marriage. So it's a thing, you have to cook. You have to. Everyone in my family cooks. But I had a special passion for it. I loved it. Most people do it because they have to. But I enjoyed cooking growing up. And then also, even when I was in university, I studied something totally different, international relations. I was in uni, I was cooking for my entire dorm. And sometimes I will even, like the boys, they'll be like, oh, I really like your food. Can I come today for lunch? I'm like, well, if you help me with my assignments, I used to trade food. So fast forward, I finished school, moved to Spain. I was in Madrid for 2 years. I was teaching English, and then at some point I lost my job and decided to start cooking for African students at the IE Business School. So I'll cook the food they miss, and then they'll, like a weekly thing, they'll pay for it. And I was comfortable the whole time. Came back to Ghana, and then but there was this need to make sense of what I truly want. Something was missing for me, and I was trying to figure it out. So at some point, everybody around me was saying, "You cook so well. Why can't you just do this as focus on it as a career?" And I reluctantly started applying for chef schools, and I found one which was in Nairobi, Kenya. And because I'm in West Africa, that's East Africa. So I moved to Nairobi for 2 years. I started in a hotel kitchen, trained there, the love for it go deeper and deeper. But then I started also getting curious because I wanted to understand my cuisine deeper. And for me, it didn't make sense that I was working in a hotel where I was cooking food that I have no connection with. I didn't grow up eating pasta. I didn't grow up eating all of the things that were cooked there. So for me, it didn't make sense that I got curious. I was like, I want to cook something I have connection with, something that will trigger a memory, a story. So I came to Ghana, worked in few restaurants and hotels. And then at some point, the nomadic spirit kicked in. And then I quit my job and then started traveling. That was when I started traveling. So I've always loved cooking. Food for me is a love language in many ways. And I'm a foodie before a chef. So I love food.
I can't stop taking notes. Food for me is a love language. That's so beautiful. Some of my students, as I mentioned to you, they're doing a program, a master program in innovation and gastronomy. management and restaurant management, and I know that gastronomy for them is in their blood as well. And listening to you is such an inspiration. So I'm just going to leave the mic open in case anybody else wants to make a question. But my last question is, um, you are an ambassador for the Fulani. I mean, it's just amazing what you're doing. What do they tell you?
Proud. They're actually proud because as much as it's all the things I talk about, the good things of Fulanis, also the Fulani tribe faces a huge challenge in Africa because we are cattle people. There is a serious dispute that happens between the nomadic Fulanis with farmers in Africa. And to say it's serious problem to the point people are being killed and all of that. So there's a negative connotation sometimes when you say Fulani, they think about the cattle herdsmen who are constantly fighting with farmers because of cattle invasion. So most times Fulanis travel cross borders with no documentation. They are just on the go constantly. And these cattle will go into farmlands and destroy. And it has caused a lot. So they are so proud that I'm bringing something different to the conversation, not just cattle invasion, but also we have our gastronomy, we have our culture. So it's been lovely, and I'm learning. For me, they think I am, what's the word? They think I am giving so much to them, but it's the other way around. I'm getting so much more from them. The knowledge, the wisdom, and just learning all these things in the most natural way. For me, they are my biggest inspiration.
Wow.
Biggest inspiration, yeah.
Well, but it's you can really feel the proud you have, and it really, I can really, from the day I met you the first time, I couldn't stop listening to you, and I felt, wow, she's so proud. And it is an inspiration. I don't know if we have any other questions. Like, I don't know, when I think about the city science group, yes, Maitane, that you research, and here is also Srinye, she's the city science director in Gipuzkoa. Um, I think when we talk about cities and you're talking about rural development is so interesting. It's really inspiring. I don't know if we have any more questions. Srinya, hi, how are you? Maitane, do we have any
Fine,
questions?
Adela, thank you.
You're more than welcome.
Loves way.
Hello.
Yeah, Srini, do you have a question or?
No, please
Ah.
go on.
Yeah, I have a question. Well, first of all, thank you for your inspiring talk. I mean, your work is amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us. I have a question. I don't know if because I mean probably you have done a lot of things and this was like a little time to show all of it. I don't know if you have worked with kids and children and like how through education like teach all these values of gastronomy and food and I mean I'm curious about that.
Yes, absolutely. I have. I've worked on a baby food project before to include ingredients that are important for growth. But also another arm of my work with FAO is to actually educate kids. We've hosted different fun groups of kids at the FAO headquarters in Rome. And also in Africa, we've done it because this is why I always talk about the past and now, because growing up, we were introduced to the farm. Now you can barely meet a kid that has ever pulled a potato from the ground. And I think kids need to understand their food. We as people, the industry that feeds you is an industry worth discovering. I think all of us should be curious about our food because that's what keeps us alive. So, and it's a project I'm trying to expand on. I just started last year with FAO, and this year we also did some of it. But next year going forward, we want to create a space where the kids can do a field trip to our village, the culinary village, come and learn about forgotten foods. We're actually starting a farm also just focus on forgotten foods. FAO just compiled the 100, how is it called, number of 100 ingredients that are forgotten, which we are trying to grow on the farm so that kids can come from school for a field trip and learn about all these things. Because I think we have to catch them while they are young, and they are the next generation. If we don't invest our time and knowledge and energy in them, we are completely doomed.
Totally agree. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And another question, like, what's your most challenging project that you have done?
Yes, that's a good one. The Fonio project is challenging. Honestly, if it wasn't passion, I would have given up, because a lot of people started it in the past and they gave up. It's extremely challenging. And it's not just challenging in terms of logistics, but also with the people. Because this is a project where I'm trying to train farmers how to include their best practices, not neglect what they have already, to show that, hello, what you have is valuable, place value on it. And most times in places like this, they don't see long term. They just want $3 today to put food on the table. They're not thinking the investment you're putting in them in terms of knowledge and how they can be sustainable. So they just want quick cash. So that's a big challenge sometimes, because it's a two different world. They are not educated. They are not some of them have never left their town. And here I am, I'm a woman, and also have to deal with the egos of men with traditions, because they don't, in places like even their wives don't talk to them anyhow, or even stand straight when they are talking. They have to kneel down. And I'm a modern woman who is trying to preserve her traditions, and I'm young. They are like, what are you doing? Who are you to talk to tell me what to do? So it's a lot of navigating. It's exhausting, to be honest. If not for the passion and the vision, it's a lot.
Yeah.
This year, I've been feeling burnt out. That's the truth. So I told everyone I did December, my focus is Dine on a mat, few events, taking January off, and then February we come back, we go harder. We can't give up.
Yeah, please, keep going what you are doing, because you're amazing. So congratulations.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was
Thank
just
you.
going to ask you, how do you, I don't know, I think probably you gave us the answer, but how do you manage the egos? I mean, you are so popular, you're very famous, chef. You are worldwide famous. I was sharing with my Daniel some info about you, and you are all over the world, and you are also in the United Nations as an ambassador. I mean, oh, wow.
And maybe can I add something to that? Whose is the involucration that you value the best, the people, the person or the group of people that has had really something to say in the work you have been leading? And congratulations for the work, and thank you for the presentation.
Thank you so much. Honestly, I value the communities that inspires me, because without them, I can't do anything. If they never embraced me, you will not hear about my work. You will not, see the value in what I'm doing. So for me, they are not only my biggest inspiration, but they are the most important people that keeps me going, because I always try not to allow the accolades to get into my head, because if not, you stop growing. For me, as long as they can always open their arms for me to come into their village, to also disconnect. Sometimes I go there to actually just run away from the pressure. It's my safe space. They've created a haven for me. They're the most important. They matter. What they say about me matters the most. And because that's what fulfills me when I go home, at night, that I'm doing something. We've conquered this project. It was hard, but we've gotten there. It keeps me going more than anything.
I think you mentioned that, Chef. Is it your purpose in life? Is it your mission?
Yeah.
Wow.
It is. It is my purpose in life. It is food. I don't see gastronomy as, I'm not, me, person, I'm not interested in creating a plate that is out of this world imagination. That's not that doesn't make me happy. I admire it, I respect it, but my purpose is the change I can make, the impact over growth for me. I value impact. For me, I'm not here to chase growth. I'm here to chase impact. Because growth can be subjective. Impact comes with challenges. It comes with losing sleep. It comes with losing money. It comes with, but at the end of the day, you're driving something bigger than you. And you're not bored. You don't get bored. When it becomes just you, you get bored at some time, or it becomes a drug. You want more, 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 more. So for me, it's the impact I'm after.
And definitely you're giving an impact. You're doing incredible things. What's your role as a United Nations ambassador? Because you're doing beautiful things as well.
Yeah, it's responsible tourism ambassador. Yeah, so mostly to also promote African gastronomy, tourism in Africa, rural development. So like the village I've built now, people get to come all the way to the village, not just stop. When you come, you don't just see the city, Accra. There's more to a country than the city. And I believe every country's soul resides in the rural areas. That's where the soul of every country is. So I want people to come. So that's what mostly my work with the UN is, to promote Africa, promote the best to see in Africa, and also development, creating experiences in rural areas, promoting tourism, youth, also educating the next generation of tourism ambassadors. And that could be someone who makes bread in the village that is special in that area, or someone who taps palm wine in this area, highlighting all the enjoyable things we have and placing value on them and creating visibility. That's what my role is with the UN tourism.
It is an amazing role. What's your plan for the future?
So,
what next?
two things. I think there's two things I would say. I'm doing one already. I think to take care of myself better, I would say next year going, but to just continue growing, to build my center that processes fonio, to expand to other communities in Africa, because I've done Ghana and it hasn't been easy. So I look forward to building a bigger team and to also what we've learned in Ghana, the challenges and the wins, to be able to take that and implement it in Sierra Leone, where I was born and raised, and to implement in Guinea-Conakry, where my family is from, to be able to take this model and how is it called, share it around Africa. That's the goal.
That's a beautiful goal. My darling, do you have any more questions? Any other person, any questions, please let us know. I have so many questions. What some of my students have listened or will be listening to you, and they will be managers in restaurants, and they will be working in gastronomy. Do you have any advice for students who are getting involved in everything dealing with food and gastronomy?
I would say two things, actually three. One, stay curious. Curiosity is so important. That's how we continue learning. Stay authentic also. It's really important. And then believe in yourself, because there are times you really need to believe in yourself for anyone to believe in you. It sounds simple, but it goes a long way. Believe in yourself. When I started rolling mats and getting people to sit on it, if I didn't believe it, who would have believed? To be like, oh, I'm serving this food on the mat. So you really have to believe in yourself, stay curious, and stay authentic. Because I believe to make a great chef, you have to have your philosophy, and it has to mean something. You have to have your identity and your philosophy, and you can only do that if you're authentic and you believe in yourself.
That is powerful. I A few weeks ago, we were talking about a few things in class, and one of them is the imposter syndrome. Do
Trust me,
you know
it
what I
never
talk
goes
about?
away. It never goes away. Yes, we are talking about even now, I still get it sometimes. I'll tell you for free. Every height I reach, I'm like, am I really here? Sometimes you need to pinch yourself. It will never go away. But then I always have to remind myself that I deserve to be where I am. The
Wow.
belief in yourself comes in. But imposter syndrome, I think it's a disease. Nobody can escape it.
Me too. Usually I talk about this with Luis about this imposter syndrome. And yes,
Yeah.
I usually say sometimes we go two people to the place, you know? Imposter syndrome myself.
It will
But
always be there. Oh,
what's your dream? Just to finish this beautiful conversation with you, what is your dream?
my dream is to be happy in what I do. I am. Sometimes you're tired. I think it's more tiredness over. Sometimes you're so exhausted, hopping from one airport to another, but you're happy. I just want to leave. I want to leave a mark. I want to leave a mark that will not disappear. I want to build something that would stay even when I'm gone years after. So legacy, I'll say legacy. It will inspire generations to come. And I don't even need to be dead to step away. I want to be able to create something where I can not be involved anymore and it's still running sustainably. That's hard to do in Africa. So that's why for me it's a dream.
It's absolutely amazing listening to you, Fatmata. I mean, I am so, so happy. I told everybody about you. You've got a voice, you
Thank
know,
you.
so powerful, so incredible, so authentic, so real. I think we're living in a world in which fake
Yeah.
is the word of the year, you know, and you are so authentic. And it's just amazing. I wrote some things uh,
Mhm.
again for as a declaration of love. I love that. Helping women
Mhm.
with the right tools.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Uh, it should be responsibility, not
Not sustainability.
sustainability. I
Yeah.
think that is so
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah. It's a planet we live in. We have to take care of it. We have
Yeah.
to be responsible as people in our day-to-day and thinking the effect some of the things we do have. So it's a responsibility. And it's become a buzzword that is used lightly, too lightly. Yeah.
Rural development, economic empowerment, um, values the power of community. And I think this initiative from MIT is called Gastronomy and Beyond, because
Yes.
we always say this is
Yeah.
not about food,
Yes.
and you are the example.
Thank you. Mhm.
It's been absolutely fantastic. I think all of us agree on that. Thank you so much. Anything you need from us, let us know,
Thank
and
you.
we'll be in touch. Thank you
Thank you so much for having
so
me.
much.
Nice
You were
meeting you.
absolutely fantastic. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Yeah.
Bye.
Um, you know, it's like I don't want to let you go, but yeah, you have to go. Thank you for being an inspiration. Thank you for having that beautiful voice. Thank you for inspiring.
Thank you so much for creating spaces like this for us. Thank you.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy
Thank
holidays.
you.
Bye.
Bye.